Have you ever walked into a room convinced that everyone was staring at your outfit, or bought sneakers, lipstick, or a luxury bag because you thought people would instantly recognize it, only to realize later that hardly anyone noticed? It's sad, I know. Well, it is known as the egocentric bias. It's the tendency we all share to overestimate how much other people notice our choices, our style, or even our mistakes. And in consumer psychology, this bias explains why we obsess over logos, fashion trends, and brand details far more than most people around us actually do. Hi, I'm Akanksha, and this is The Storyteller's Lens. So today, we are unpacking egocentric bias, why we imagine a spotlight is always on us, why that drives brand choices in fashion, beauty, and lifestyle, and how smart marketers can use this insight to shape products and campaigns. By the end, you will see why consumers don't just buy brands for what they are, they buy them for how much they believe others are watching. So let's start with the core idea. Egocentric bias is a tendency to overweight our own perspective and assume others notice, think about, or share our views more than they actually do. In consumer life, it manifests as the spotlight effect. We believe our fashion, our brand choices, even small mistakes, are far more visible to others than they are in reality. And here is the plain truth: we think everyone is looking at our sneakers. They are not. But because we feel watched, we choose clothes, cosmetics, cars, and accessories to signal identity. It's one of the hidden engines of consumer behavior. Thomas Gilowick, Victoria Medwick, and Kenneth Savitsky in 2000. So they asked students to wear a bright Barry Manilow t-shirt into a room of peers. The students estimated that about half the room would notice. In reality, only about 20% did. That's the spotlight effect. We dramatically overestimate how many eyes are on us. And there are adjacent effects that matter for marketers. So the number one is false consensus effect. People assume their own tastes and preferences are more common than they are. A marketing team might fall into this, believing everyone will love the same cut or color they do. The second is red sneakers effect. Work by Belisa, Gino, and Kynan in 2014 showed that in higher status settings, non-conformity, such as wearing gym shoes in a luxury store, can signal confidence and competence. Number three is identity signaling and divergence. Jonah and Chip showed that people adopt brands to signal identity, but abandon them once an out-group adopts them. The very act of watching who notices fuels brand churn. You see egocentric bias every day in daily consumer life. Number one is fashion and apparel. Shoppers obsess over micro trends: the cut of a skirt, the shade of a nail polish, the way a logo is placed, believing everyone will notice instantly. In reality, only fashion savvy peers clock these details. Number two is brand logos and badges. Oversized logos reassure consumers that others will see their choice. Egocentric bias in action. By contrast, the new wave of quiet luxury, think Loro Piana, plays against this, offering subtle cues for those in the know. Next is beauty and grooming. Consumers often overestimate how visible their flaws are: a blemish, a mismatched foundation shade. That overestimation fuels demand for cosmetics and skincare. Cars and luxury goods. Owners assume others can tell the difference between an Audi A4 and an A6. In reality, most passers-by barely notice the trim level, but the imagined audience is what shapes the purchase. So let's ground this with a few cases. Number one is Balenciaga and ugly fashion. From platform Crocs to IKEA inspired totes, Balenciaga leveraged non-conformity. Consumers assumed everyone noticed, and for those who got it, it read as daring high fashion. Number two is Supreme drops and hype culture. Long queues for limited edition products are fueled partly by egocentric bias. Buyers imagine that everyone will notice they secured the drop. In reality, only insiders care, but that's enough to sustain demand. Number three is quiet luxury versus logo luxury. HBO's Succession made stealth wealth visible. Brands like Loro Piana rely on subtle cues, banking on selective egocentric bias. Consumers believe the right people will notice. Next is TikTok beauty micro trends. From the clean girl look to latte makeup, consumers assume their peers instantly recognize these shifts. For most, they blur altogether. But egocentric bias keeps trend chasing alive. So, how can marketers work with this bias? Number one is design signals for the imagined audience. Give consumers visible markers that make them feel noticed. Second, play both sides, quiet and loud. Offer bold logo lines for consumers who need reassurance and subtle prestige lines for those who want insider recognition. Third, curate norm breaking products. Deliberate non-conformity pieces like clashing colors or exaggerated silhouettes. Fourth, leverage micro communities. Market micro trends in niche spaces where attention really is higher, like streetwear forums or TikTok fashion creators. And fifth, reality check your own team. Marketers are especially prone to false consensus, assuming their taste is universal. Run noticeability audits with naive audiences to test what people actually see. Of course, there are risks. Number one is anxiety exploitation. If you lean too hard into consumers' sense of being watched, you risk fueling insecurity. Number two is backlash to loud branding. Consumers eventually realize fewer people notice than they assumed, and oversized logos can burn out quickly. The last is out group contamination. When disliked groups adopt a trend, loyal consumers may abandon it overnight. That's why trend cycles collapse faster in high visibility categories like sneakers or handbags. So, what's the lesson? Egocentric bias makes consumers feel hyper visible. They believe others notice their choices far more than they actually do. That belief drives identity signaling, logo obsession, and micro trend chasing. And it means brands succeed not just by making good products, but by designing signals that gratify the imagined audience. Loud brands reassure the spotlight bias. In short, consumers buy brands not only for what they are, but how much they believe others are watching. I'm Akanksha, and this is The Storyteller's Lens. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into consumer psychology and marketing strategy. And here's my question for you. Have you ever bought something because you thought everyone would notice, only to realize later nobody cared. Share your story in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.